What did you think of Klay Thompson's fourth quarter?
Phenomenal. Just took over the game at a time when we desperately needed him. With our offense kind of struggling to find a groove, and he got hot and took over the game.
Steve, congratulations on being named one of the 15 coaches of the greatest coaches of all time. That's way better than California Sports Writer of the Year.
Way better than what?
California Sports Writer of the Year. It's like way up there. I was curious. You took Klay out, and he was right. I feel like at that cusp of the 30 minutes. Maybe it was like 31, and then he comes back in shortly after that. How tough was that decision, and what went behind that moment there?
It wasn't a tough decision because we're really committed to keeping him at that 30-minute mark while he's coming back. Big picture in mind, we know we need him for the long haul. So we were going to take him out, and Mike Brown has his rotation mapped out pretty cleanly, and it all worked out well, obviously. But it's been tough. It's great that he's now at the 30-minute mark. It allows us to get to more combinations, but it hasn't been easy trying to figure out when to play him and where as we've led up to this point. But now we're getting to a point where it's a little bit easier.
Does the offense just flow to Klay when he's like that, or are you calling stuff to get him shots at any point?
It's more just Klay himself. We might have had a call or two out of the timeouts for him, but for the most part, it's just Klay finding his groove, and guys doing a good job of getting him the ball.
Steve, is there a point when you sense the explosion is coming? Like, in other words, 3 shots in a row or something. Is there a point when you say, okay, look out, here we go?
Yeah. I mean, you can probably feel it too. We've been around Klay for so long. I don't know if it's, 2 in a row, 3 in a row, but he just has a look on his face, a bounce in his step, and you can feel it coming.
Kind of along those lines, I mean, you were pretty, you explained very well that the feeling when he scored that 37 in the quarter. Can you just describe sort of the emotion in the building and on the bench when he does get in that kind of zone?
Yeah, it's pretty special because the crowd has seen it so many times, and for it to happen now after that 2.5-year layoff, as much as everyone loved Klay back then, they love him even more now because they know what he's been through. So to see him ignite and to see the crowd getting so into it, his teammates. Klay is he's special. It goes beyond making shots. He brings an electricity to the building that's it's hard to quantify.
What'd you think coming in tonight? Obviously, he's out there guarding LeBron most of the time, and fouls probably are going to be natural at some point. But what did you think of that? He scores 16 points. He gets 9 rebounds. And did you take him out strictly and keep him out strictly because of the foul trouble, or were there strategic reasons to keep him out there in the fourth quarter?
I took him out because of the foul trouble. And when LeBron went off the floor, that we decided to take Jonathan out because he was the primary defender on him. And we didn't want him to pick up his 6th before LeBron came back. But by the time LeBron came back, we had committed to putting that small lineup back in. And I just decided to go with all of our shooters, with Jordan and Otto out there with Wiggs and Steph and Klay. So I felt bad. I mean, Jonathan was our best player for the first 3 quarters, and I really wanted to get him back in the game. But it was just kind of the way the game shook out and the way our small lineup played those last 5 minutes. I just rolled with that group.
And obviously, when you start him, he's going up against LeBron. I mean, that's just the way that matchup works. Did you see that he rose to the moment knowing how important that assignment was?
He definitely rose to the moment. But the plan was, let's get him experience now. Let's put him on LeBron now because he's going to have to guard LeBron and plenty of other guys in the playoffs who are, really, really tough tough jobs, tough covers. So we're just trying to get him all the experience he can get right now. And he's handling it beyond anything I could have expected even a couple of weeks ago. So his rise this last month has just been brilliant.
So just the follow-up is, I guess, knowing you reserve the right to change your mind, he's in the playoff rotation as of now?
I reserve the right to determine the playoff rotation when the playoffs begin, but I would expect him to be a part of it. Yeah.
Steve, can I just build a little bit on what Ron asked in terms of reaction? Clay really kind of lit up the crowd there in the fourth quarter. Is that the loudest you've heard, Chase? Any memories of Oracle? It seems like this crowd is starting to grow in its voice.
Chase has been pretty loud this year. We've had a lot of big games, and Clay's return against Cleveland, it was really loud. He had a game a couple weeks ago here where he caught fire in the first quarter and made 7 straight shots, and the place was going crazy. So Chase is developing its own identity, and it's up to us to put on a good performance to bring the most out of the crowd. But I think the building keeps noise in really well. It's much more intimate than a lot of the new arenas around the league, and it feels great playing out there.
How do you generally just think you guys played overall?
I thought we played very poorly, actually. Offensively, we did a few good things. We took care of the ball. Clay got hot in the fourth, but I thought we played a very poor defensive game. Let back cutters get to the rim, didn't box out. Transition defense was really bad, but we found a way to win. So we've just the last couple of weeks. I don't think we've been that great, but we're finding ways to win. But it's not going to be enough if we keep playing like this.
You decided to foul up 3, and it kind of worked against you. I mean, what did you think of that call? And is that sometimes what makes you hesitant to foul up 3, that possibility?
We didn't execute very well. We're going to have to keep practicing that. We had I thought, one really good chance to foul right away. I think Gary was guarding the dribbler, and he said he tried to foul, but I thought he could have really wrapped him up right there. And then I don't know what the rule is on replay, but it's clear that Steph's foul was clearly before the shot, clearly. And so I was very disappointed that didn't go to replay. It seems like we replay everything else out there, and then the most important play of the game we don't review. But I don't know what the rule is. So I'm not even sure if I had my challenge left, if I could have challenged whether it was a 3 or not. So we've got to get better with that, but we survived. We got lucky.
Yes, the fault was there instruction, don't foul until there's 5 seconds left, or was it foul immediately?
We practice, and I'm not going to give you all the details of what our strategy is because it doesn't make sense to tell the world, but we practice that situation, and we need to practice it some more.
Steve, Jonathan had 9 rebounds. That's an uptick from recent games. How much of that was focus and how much of it is just activity, or what do you think is behind that?
I think he's listening. He's really coachable, and our staff has been on him to rebound more. And I thought right from the beginning he did a good job on the boards. Thanks.